welcome to the Bullets vs. Handsome Hour. I can't believe we've already started. It's incredible.
I accidentally hit the button. I'm sorry. Premature hitting. I'm sorry.
What's the launch season start sequence?
I think you guys are always worried about audio quality, and then you talk like back here. And,
I'm pretty close. I'm like,
right, not you. You're always audible. You are perfect right there. You're perfect from your section, from your seats.
Just the way you are.
Just the way you are. It's boiling boiler down, I guess, is what his cryon says. Anish and Jay here to talk to you. We're all of us back together for the first time in weeks. I don't know why we wouldn't all want to talk about this stuff every week, but we're almost there, everybody. Couple more weeks to go.
You were talking about how sad, Boiler Dad, you're talking about how sad everybody was, or not sad everybody was, that this is the last home game. Everybody was saying their goodbyes.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody was. It's
like
it's bittersweet.
It feels like work.
Bitter. It feels like work.
Like work. It was some effort to get through.
Yeah, it's hard, and that's the thing. It shouldn't be that way.
I thought about you guys, and I was like, I can't believe they're at this game.
Right. Yeah. My college roommate, he was telling me his daughter had a basketball game. He said, "What are you up to?" And I said, "I'm preparing the beef that I made for the tailgate." And he goes, "You are a sadist." He's stopped watching the games, and he's a fan.
Always preparing the beef, if we're being honest.
Always getting the meat ready for everybody to give to everybody. It's true. It's very true. That's what got me blocked by that one woman. Just the toilet humor that I like so much.
Yeah, that could be what it is.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh well. We're here now. Did Purdue win on Saturday in the football game clash against the football?
Do you think people are coming here for their update on how Purdue's doing? There could be some listeners.
I assume nobody watched the game.
There might be. We might have a certain subset of people who are like, let me tune in and hear, like it's like a 1938 radio transmission. Like
the spoiler alert for the game. This is your chance if you don't want
from the newswire.
Exactly. If you haven't watched the Purdue football game against Penn State yet, this is your chance to fast forward about 30 minutes. Somehow we'll find a way to talk about this.
I think one of the things we're going to talk about tonight, and I don't know, you guys probably didn't see that I did this, but I gave everybody an assignment tonight, which I hadn't done in a while on Twitter. And I think it's time to just pull the curtain back completely. And by that, I mean just... You never know. You pull the curtain back, and Nishan might not have pants on.
That's what I was.
In fact, be careful with the curtain.
In all likelihood, yeah. We got into a conversation. I think this is worth sharing because this is far more interesting than Purdue football right now. But we all got into the conversation of if Purdue's going to actually not take this seriously and not demand changes and not say, hey, hold a guy accountable. We all said, well, we can hold them accountable and we can spend our money elsewhere. And we got to talking about maybe what we should do is just road trip to a different place.
Dude, it sounds awesome, actually, the more
we talk about it. It's fantastic. It was the most lively conversation we've all had because it was so easy to start coming up with places we wanted to go. And when there were overlaps, which was hilarious, because I put Boise State on the list, and you were like, I want to go to Boise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nobody's list had anything bad on it. That's what I'll say. Some of them I've been to, and I'm like, But I asked everyone from the BS Twitter, I said, please send us your wish list. Your bucket list Purdue or college football venues. Either you could have been there or what's on your bucket list where you'd like to go. And so I haven't even started to dig through it yet, but we've got a ton of responses. So
fair weather, Greg McManus. That's my favorite, Greg McManus.
Hey, Greg. Fair weather, Greg McManus. And he says I did the discussion board assignment. Thank you. I get full points. Yes, Greg. Yes.
Good job.
Although I did see Greg's response, not to dive right into him, but he mentions – Boiler Dad, please get ready to boo. I know you're a good booer. He comes up with, I haven't been to the Shoe or Michigan Stadium. Penn State at night looks cool.
No, boo.
Now, I'm not saying...
I bet your favorite movie of the year was like
Titanic.
Dune 2. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, fine, I guess, but wow.
We're gonna put down our friend Greg. Is that what we're
doing?
You
like the Beatles too,
Greg.
Greg.
We're angry today.
Yeah, exactly.
We're coming out swinging. We're gonna hit our friends. We're gonna hit enemies.
Dude, before we got on here, Jay was just taking shots at Anish and I, and we didn't even know we were gonna catch fire. We're like, wow,
we're
this is
tough.
That's
what that's known as.
That's tough.
Well, because I I go through periods where I don't say anything on Twitter for a long time, and then I've been kind of fired up lately. And you guys know this, and I think I've said this publicly, but I have a huge issue with lazy media in any forum.
Yeah.
But I especially hate it around. This isn't like asking hard questions about an entertainment product like football is not that difficult of an ask. If you were in a position where you had to ask questions about an assassination and you were worried you might get killed, then I might say, okay, I understand why you're a little afraid. But what are you afraid of? Ask some hard questions. Ryan Walters, I couldn't remember his name.
Awesome.
Had like a 5-minute press conference today. It was about 5 minutes. And the questions he was getting asked, and I don't mean to come down on anyone specifically, but it's hard not to because I'm going to quote some things, but he was getting asked questions about the kicking competition. Yes, because when it's 42-3, you really want to know if you can make it 42-6.
That's what GBI's been talking about, by the way. They talked about it twice. I was like, who gives a shit? Exactly. Are people really, I mean, I'm sure their moms are thinking about it, but
if he came out and said, you know what, our kicking's so bad, we're going to go for it on anything inside of whatever.
Yeah.
It's not even a distance, because they were, what was it, Ohio State? They were 4th and goal from the 3, and they decided to kick and missed that 21-yard field goal. Man, just go for the touchdown. Who cares? Who's going to hold that again? No one's going to be like, man, this guy's.
That's the fireable offense.
Yeah, right. Maybe it works. And if it did in that moment, it would have been 10-10, I believe. So, you're not going to win that game, but if you made it 10-10, you guys might just believe for a second.
Hey, Travis's comment. Yes, they've been told they're going to get kicked out if they ask that question. Yes.
I don't care. I don't. Well, okay.
Exactly.
I do care. Look, I've said for years, I feel badly for the people who are reliant on Purdue for their job, because what else are you going to cover in Lafayette, Indiana? But you know where I draw the line on this kind of shit? When it's just like when somebody who makes a lot of money or someone high up in a company, it's like
you.
That's even higher than me.
Even higher?
When people are like, that's a really hard decision. And you know what? You are compensated to make the hard decisions. That's why you're making lots of money. Now, I don't think you can apply that to media, but I think what you can say is your job is to seek the truth and to ask tough questions. I know that's hard. I know that sucks, but these are the paths we've chosen in life. You chose to do this, and I like the guys who cover Purdue. Let me be clear on that. I like the guys at the Exponent. I like Baird. I like Carmen. I like all these guys. I think
you love the GBI guys too. I know you do. I mean,
I think they're likable, and I think they're good guys, and I actually think they are pretty smart and inquisitive, and I do think they have insight. And Purdue acts like a Gestapo. And the only way to change that is if you all band together and you all ask tough questions.
Right.
And throw us all out. I know this is really complicated stuff. And I got told today that I shouldn't demand that. I shouldn't hate on reporters, which I wasn't doing. I was just saying I wish we could ask tougher questions then. Does playing Friday night change your preparation? Really? That's the kind of stuff we're going to ask them?
At this point, we're worried about this finely tuned machine.
And then I got told, what kind of questions should you be? And I looked at 6 right away. I was like, how about any of these? Oh, I see. You just want to rant. I was like, kind of, because you know what you're doing? You're channeling the fans who are fucking furious.
Yeah. So, no, that's... Right, I think we'll just get the beep out for that.
No, we won't. This is all adults here. It's after
before we put it on the audio, I'll just make sure it goes through. No, I always edit. Yeah,
we do a lot of editing.
A lot of edits. Yeah. So Travis says GBI's Saturday simulcast has been pretty negative. So here I'm going to give you a little. So here's what I've seen. There's been an arc. Yeah, it's not very negative anymore. In fact, 2/3 of it to me. They can't be. They're clearly been told you can't keep talking the way you are.
I'm so worked up.
I know. I believe it. I believe it.
Sweatshirt off.
Yeah. Oh.
And we'll see what else.
There we go.
It got a little out of focus when you did it. It's like, ooh.
My camera was like, oh.
Yeah.
Maybe I should blur this.
Show us behind the curtain, Jay.
Yeah, we said we're going behind the curtain. Let's go all the way behind. Mercy.
Sorry, Nadia Seago. Are you related to Ed Seago?
Gotta be Ed's. Hold on, because Kyle is related to Ed. So Nadia is related to Ed too.
Sorry,
sure of it. Ed's an amazing dude. So.
I do think that at this point. So a lot of the questions have been micro questions, right? They've been questions about the week, and we have reached the point of the season where it's time to ask the macro questions. It's time to ask I do think the question about like how do you change preparation from Friday to Saturday and all of that is interesting and all but it's interesting if the team must be this tall to ride.
Right. Let's start with the basics.
Yeah, exactly.
What the is going on? How about we start with that?
It is. I mean, like at some point it is. How do you react to? And you don't even have to be aggressive. You can say this season has gone far below yours and everybody's expectations. How do you keep the locker room motivated through that? I mean, like there are ways to address the macro point here without being an aggressor, even if you don't want to be an aggressor. And I think the bigger point is that there is nobody that isn't being demanded. And combine that with a lot of the whispers that are coming out, maybe floated kind of rumors that we're trying to gauge reaction, that everybody except the head coach is going to be, is going to be let go. The head coach is going to get to reassemble his staff. And it's potentially because Babinski's retirement kind of timeline. Again, I don't know. The way that was floated out by GBI on the simulcast, I don't know if that was reported. I don't know if they can say that reports are that this is that.
They won't say it.
Exactly. No. So that's why.
But Anish, it's been leaked. There's no way Dienart says that on his own.
Is this a leak, or is this a 100%. Strategic leak, or is this a just off the cuff like thing that people are talking about?
If Dienart did that by himself, think about it. If he does it by himself without anyone giving him like the nudge to do it, then he is putting them in a terrible position, because now he's got everybody worked up at Babinski too. And so I think he loses his job if he did this, or potentially if he did this without any push at all.
Yeah.
Or not maybe his job, but gets a talking to. So, and we'll see. If he walks it back significantly next week, then maybe you're onto something.
Yeah, I mean, like that's like, to me, I couldn't tell. And I would much rather, they say anonymous sources in the athletic department have told me that it is, that a factor that is being considered is Mike Babinski's retirement timeline. And like that could be a way to lend credence to this. It wasn't said like that. And so it's like, I don't even know how to deal with this. And so that's why it's like, the other part of this is that everybody is already assuming that is the way that this is going to happen. That, the Sunday after the IU game, the entire staff is going to be let go. Walters is going to be still there, and they'll get to kind of, redo that. And it's because Babinski wants to do for the next 2 years. And doesn't want to, wants to have an athletic director transition before he does this. My thing is like, that hasn't been sourced yet. That hasn't been reported as if it is sourced. And we got 14 days now, 13, 12 days until that's going to happen. And so we might as well wait. But it's a balance, and I understand, because if it was a floated balloon out there, it's insane. That's an insane reason to stick behind a guy. The other insane thing is saying that it's about money. Don't sit here in the Big Ten with the Big Ten checks, forcing volleyball players to go to UCLA for conference games, and then cash those checks, and then tell me we don't have the money. Like that is, you can either like vote against the teams that are going to join the Big Ten and say it is important for us to keep the integrity of the Big Ten, this, that, and the other, or you can vote for the additions, you can cash the checks, and you can then use the money, invest the money into the program. And to me, like, I would much rather they say, hey, we hired a 36-year-old coach in his first time as a head coach. We knew that bad times would be here, and we are sticking by him. We have faith that he will be able to do this. Even if we disagree, tell us the truth and don't BS us. Like that to me.
But Anish, don't you think that this is very possibly floated to see what the reaction would be? Don't you think that's a PR? It's a cowardly PR strategy, but like, I think it could. I mean, Occam's razor, right? The most likely thing is probably what's happening. I mean, I don't think there's any way they're not interested in what the reaction would be. They're not that, like, I'm sure they'll put that out there, like, we're doing things our way. We don't care what you think. They care. They care. If everybody stops giving money and everybody stops showing up, they care. I mean,
it's the enthusiasm behind it.
You-
I think Boiler Dowd was talking about that before. It's like, I mean,
you
you've got
could,
a kid. You've got a kid there now. You've got a block of seats, and even you guys are like, I don't know.
because you're not
we're in
gonna need them.
discussions. Like, I mean, that's the thing. And I got to tell you, I'm rooting for making a statement to the athletic department in the best, most audible way. And to me, the most audible way is doing it with your wallet. I'm not a big donor. I don't, I've got this platform, but I don't think they give a shit about this. We've talked about that before. So I could yell it from the mountaintops. Remember, Jay, one time the athletic department came at me and wanted me to be quiet. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Well, more than once at BS, they've come at us.
Well, one time they tried to be really constructive because they said I was being too noisy. And I think, they
sent an alum to call us.
Right.
Called each of us
Calm it down.
Ask us to rein it in. That was when we were coming down on Danny Hope. And
yeah.
Whatever, man.
It's
like,
and so we've got, this comment here, which is like Josh Cuttle said, Big Ten standards broke. Purdue does not have the money. This is not it. This is not it, Josh. Josh, this isn't it. This isn't it. And I'll tell you why it's not it. Northwestern is paying nothing to anything other than that stadium. They're not giving money to the portal. They're not, and they're competitive. Purdue is not at all competitive, and Purdue has talent that is enough to be competitive.
They absolutely have enough talent on this team.
Oh yeah,
that
is actually what kind of stood out. Again, the patented 2 quarters of good effort Purdue football that leads to decent drives.
Sorry to interrupt, Anish, but
points.
Josh says he's going to DM us. So, Josh, please send nudes. Okay,
yes,
go on.
Yeah, if you're going to do that.
If you're going to send a DM, I hope it's going to be
Make it worthwhile.
Please.
Yes, go on, Anish. Sorry.
Behind the curtain. No, the Purdue's patented 2 quarters of good effort that matches up with good programs that results in minimal points, the most minimal points possible. You can see that there are players on this roster that could play this Penn State team pretty evenly. Again, it's not going to be the tackles, like the tackles struggled, right? But Max Clare and Devin Mock.
You're saying, the offensive tackle, right? Because the funny thing I was going to say that the ironic part of that would be the defensive tackle is from Penn State, right?
But
so, I know he's hurt. He left on a cart.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's a guy that I love. I love Cole. So
that
sucks.
It's a bummer. The offensive tackles, yes.
Right.
But that was against Penn State's rush, and you understand that. You kind of get it. You get it moving quickly. But Max Clare looked like he belonged on that field. Devin Mockabee looked like he belonged on that field, right? And so, I think there are players here that show that they belong, and they were going through kind of the top line talent. And to me, it's like this team should not be this bad. And to me, I am the one of the 3 of us, all of us at BS, to give the coach more time, to say that 2 years is unreasonable, that there are minimal ways that you could only have kind of 2 years and, say it. But this year, it's not just that it's 1 win. That doesn't, that matters less than the fact that it's not even close. Like last year, you could say that there were 2 solid wins, and then there were 4 coin flips, and Purdue won 2 of them. Purdue could have easily been a 6-win team. That could have easily been a 2-win team. But I can take that because that means that Purdue was competitive, and Purdue was fighting, and there was talent on the roster, and the schemes were, by the end of the season, clicking. You could see, even if it was a big kind of window of wins, it is the way that you wanted to see the team rebound after Braum, right? This year, I don't know what you can say that, even for me, who is predisposed to giving more than 2 years, I don't know what you can, what you can say. And that's the thing. It's like, you must be this tall to ride. The program cannot get this bad, even in year 2.
But this is why we come back to coaching. and organization and preparation, because I'm not going to say anybody would be happy at 1-9, but you could have a 1 or 2 win team that you're still seeing something, right? Like, okay, you brought in a guy who's known as a defensive guru. Okay, if they were losing games 13-6, boring as hell. But you'd be saying, okay, look, they just need a little bit of offense.
Look at
They
the
just
fight.
need a little bit of offense, and they'll be there. And you wouldn't be happy with 1-9, but you wouldn't think he didn't know what he was doing. You'd be like, he must not have the horses, right? That's what you'd be saying. But when, I mean, we can pick any number of plays from this season, but the fresh ones in my mind, I forget the kid's name, 44, the H-back for it's like it's 1945.
Oh, he was awesome.
Yeah, but you hand the ball off and he rushes 50 yards untouched.
He wasn't touched. That's a good play right there. That is a great example.
Well,
And
the
here,
tight end.
The worst one was the next drive. Their backup quarterback did the same thing, untouched.
the exact same play, right? Kind of, it wasn't even a clever.
It was like a sweep left, even.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Or an off tackle left. I don't
Right.
know.
How about this? So we had somebody talk about this in Walter's press conference. He said the guys were having an execution problem. So to me, what he's saying there, he's saying that the scheme's good. The plays are there. The guys aren't executing. Think about those specific plays. Think about the play where they had the unusual formation and they had the double pass and how they could have picked 3 different touchdowns on that play.
It wasn't just that one. It wasn't even a misdirection. There were some where guys were so open. Remember, there was one
Right.
the guy standing in the end zone waiting for it.
Is that everyone not executing? So everyone on the field didn't execute? What? I mean, literally, there's no one out there.
But if everyone on the field doesn't execute, again, that's not a player missing an assignment. If nobody executes, that means coaching.
So
Yeah.
exactly, if you're a teacher and you give a test and half the class fails and half passes, then it's a hard test and it is what it is. If everybody fails,
You're a failure.
then yeah,
Exactly.
it's on you. It's
Yeah.
on you. If 90% of the class is failing, that's on you as
But
a
this is
teacher.
what, so Kevin Albuquerque says, when the coach says we didn't play well, didn't coach well, didn't execute well, how much should we weigh the middle of that? I think what he's saying, I get what he's saying. But I saw that in the press conference too. Like what happened today, coach? Well, didn't play well, didn't coach well, didn't execute well. Okay, well, it's 10 games in, and it was like, there's things we have to work on. But that's, again, there's an example of where you should follow up and say, like what? Like, at this point, what do you change? I'd like someone to say, like I said to you guys, when he made a face and got defensive when they were going into a bye week after losing 35-0 to Oregon, and was asked if they would change anything about the preparation, and he said, I'm confused as to why we would change anything. That's an alarming thing to say.
Right.
You say, we're going to figure out something to change because we have to change.
So here, Handel brings a good point, and I'll tell you how I would handle this problem, Handel. And I'm not a genius. I'm not a football coach. I've coached third graders. Okay, but here's the thing: linebackers are horribly slow. This is Handel Jones. I'm quoting. If defensive end can't contain edge, those runs are going to be there all game. Okay, Handel. Let's think back early in the season. The answer is here. Okay, I'll tell you where the answer is. You shift the talent. You put Thieneman up at linebacker like we saw for one game. Do you remember that? And he looked pretty good. They pulled him close to the line of scrimmage and they had somebody play back because there was another, I can't remember, somebody was hurt and it forced their hand. Guess what? Thieneman's a pretty fast linebacker, right? So you try to freaking move guys in a position where you can find some success. Guess what they did though? Right away. When that guy was healthy again, they moved Thieneman back there to the 50-yard drop and created all the space again, where none of the linebackers who might not be the athletic guys or experience, right? That's a problem. That's a problem. But you've got to figure out how to fix that problem once you're in it. It's sunk. The issues are sunk. The players, the roster is sunk. You've got to do something. You have to shift things. How about this? There's a great frustration among fans that I'm seeing over and over. Why don't we see more Ryan Brown? I think it's a fair question. And it's not just Ryan Brown. Where is the desperation from the coaching staff saying, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to freaking, what Anish was, unload every something in the clip. How did he butcher it? How did he say it though? Because it's important that I butcher it just the way.
Empty every shell in the clip. I will never get it.
Oh, that wasn't that good. It was much worse than that. And it made it better. It was so good. No, but they are not unloading the clip. They're not doing that at all. Right? They're not turning over every stone. We're not seeing creativity anywhere.
This is what happens with stubborn coaches.
So
right?
this is I was going to kind of follow up on that stubbornness point. This is a question to ask, which is at what point do you, instead
Admit?
of fitting the players to the scheme, at what point do you fit the scheme to the players?
Well, right. Successful coaches come in and say, "What do we have here? Okay, let's build something around the talent that's here." Right?
And
Not try to force feed my method.
I mean,
Right.
even the simple stuff is like Devin Mockabee got 11 carries. 11.
Right. So Josh says that he is related to Devin. Okay. Here's the thing. He gets 11 touches or probably 14 touches. You clearly have a guy that's a hot commodity. Do something with him. Line him up in the slot, right? Get him in motion before the snap. Get him the damn ball every way possible. Get him the ball, right? And if here's the thing, Jay, again, guys, we're not talking about genius things. We're not talking about things that are horrible. Jay says, why are you forcing Card to sit back there in a pocket that doesn't exist and scan the field? Why not roll him out quick release? Why not do it every play?
Every play is fast.
How about this? Where is the safety valve every play? Where is it?
Give him something where you say, Hudson, if you don't see it or the pocket collapses immediately, go to this guy. Go to Mockabee in the flat.
Exactly. Where is it?
I mean,
and maybe somebody. I'm sure there are people. I'm sure there are people on this. Josh. I'm sure he's smarter football mind than me. Where's the safety valve? And we can talk. We can bitch about talent all we want, but this scheme is horrendous.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I'm not going to bitch about talent, for the record. I'm not going to do it. And you haven't heard me do it.
I think there is enough to be better than this. There is enough to be competitive, at least for the first half of the schedule.
Last year showed it. They were in games that they lost. They won games that they were toss-ups. Like I will continue to say last year, and Anish, you made this point, if this was flipped and they looked like this last year, and then last year, this year, you'd be like, okay.
Wow, big step forward.
And you'd be just as jazzed as you were at the end of last season. Maybe not quite, but pretty close. You'd be like, okay, going in the right direction. And instead, it's gone so far in the other direction where there's, I mean, what can you even point to? One good half against Illinois? I guess you could argue a quarter or so of good play against Northwestern. You were down 70-3 in the second quarter. So again, I guess a decent half.
So let's give Chris. Let's say 2 halves of football have been good. Let's just say that.
Okay.
Very good, I'd say. Like two halves of football have been what you want to see.
Yeah,
what
okay.
you wanted to see from this team.
And I would say there's the going for the win against Illinois was maybe the last decision that Walters made that I was like 100%. That's the right decision, right? Ever since
it didn't
then,
pay off. Go get it though.
He's been weirdly and I think you've said this: either be aggressive or be conservative. Don't be indiscriminately aggressive. It switches from drive to drive. Just be aggressive. No one would fault you at all.
And you're going out swinging. You're going down. We're going down this season, and so you might as well go down swinging, right? And that's kind of our ethos. That is, again, like, as Purdue fans, it's literally all we ask. Like, go down swinging. Try to put a scare into folks. Like, again, in this new landscape, 4 to 7 wins is your window. Like, it's not an impossible job. The other part of this is that we say that, even if you say that there is no money invested in the football program, if that's your contention, then to me, it's not that Purdue doesn't have the money. This is a choice. Purdue has the money. Northwestern is building an $800 million stadium.
Right.
Like, I know they have some donors, but it's like Big Ten money is real. There is a reason why every conference except the Big Ten and SEC are dissolving right now. It's because of the money that is flowing to the Big Ten, flowing to the SEC. And yes, we are probably in the middle to lower third of the amount of money that, gate revenue that they have. But we still should be investing more into the program than, let's say, Kansas State, let's say Pitt, let's say, at NC State, a handful of these programs that we see as our peers, right? But if we are hemming and hawing at this, then it is a choice, right? It's a choice that the athletic department is making. And the other thing.
But here's the choice to me, Anish, though. I've been thinking about this a lot, way too much. I know you had that very good thread of tweets talking about just come out, say we're choosing to spend our money this way, and this is it. Stop bullshit with us and telling us they're just tough year, a lot of variables next year. $9 million, guys. $9 million is we keep saying it behind it's a rounding error. With this amount of money that's coming in from TV, $9 million is nothing. Now, the question is, I guarantee you Purdue earmarks every bit of that money as soon as they're positive they've got it. So what you're showing now is you're showing an athletic department that it refuses to be creative, refuses to be flexible, and refuses to look at the situation right now for what it is. They said, oh, we earmarked it back that way in, let's say, July. Oh, guess what? The situation has changed since July. It's changed a lot. In fact, and here's the thing that they don't get. The situation has changed since July, and they think, wow, look at Purdue fans. They came out, they bought tickets. I can tell you, those students are unhappy. I met with a bunch of them at tailgates. They're unhappy. They are not going to come out next year like they did this year, sadly. Guess what? And they're just a part of the people that can potentially buy tickets. You have alums, you have local Lafayette businesses who have invested in this thing, who may not want to do it anymore. I mean, there's going to be a fallout if you do nothing. And I can tell you, not firing Walters is the equivalent of doing nothing. Firing his staff, the untrained fan is going to have no idea what that means. Okay? They're not going to care. They're just going to say, "Oh, he's back? Why would I be back?"
I think the other question here is that, Purdue will be a bad job. I think that I am very sensitive to the fact that there is a perception, not a perception of Purdue, but like all programs in their current states have perceptions in the coaching communities, right? And if you fire a coach after 2 years, they will talk and say that place is unreasonable. It's not a great place to work. I don't think that is the situation here. The situation here is that the program got below that level that no kind of, Big Ten program can get, and that is what it is. So I don't think it's unreasonable. I don't think at this point many national writers, national press, national football people will think that it is ridiculous if Purdue makes a move this summer. And like you said, and like we've been talking about, kind of behind the curtain, it looks like when it comes to marquee jobs, it is not going to be a busy offseason. And again, who knows? The coaching carousel is unpredictable, but next summer might be a very busy one, which means that if you are Purdue and if you are looking to hire a coach and you have this problem that Edward A. has, who will Purdue hire after they fire the head coach? If you think that we're going to have a hard time attracting people, this is the off season where Purdue might have the best shot at getting a coach like the Brahms summer, getting the coach off season, getting the coach that is a little bit better because he is ready to leave and the options aren't quite there. And Purdue will pay. Purdue is a Big Ten job, and it's a good place. Like it is a desirable place to be when compared to, let's say, the G5 or some lower.
It's a desirable place to be because there are budgets here. Okay. And I know Josh says we didn't have enough of a budget for the NIL. I get that, but let's pretend for a second, Josh, that you're a coach in the MAC. Okay. Cause we've got a couple names in the MAC that we like quite a bit. I didn't, by the way, Jay. Sorry.
Talk to the producer during the show.
Sorry. That's not good.
Everybody can see the things.
Yeah, nobody can see that. Nobody can see what I can see. But there are guys in the MAC that are very, very attractive candidates for us. And there are guys from other conferences that are also attracted to us. This is just the three of us have put something. Michael has talked a little bit. We've talked about coaching candidates that we really like. And there are a couple of them that we think right now. I mean, Anish, you've talked about your guarantee, and we don't even need to talk about who it is right now if we don't want to. But you're like, we could hire him right now. It'd be no problem. They get him. He could bring in his entire coaching staff, bring a couple players with him for a Band-Aid, and then hopefully hit the ground running. And guess what you're going to get from that guy? You're going to get 5 or 6 wins next year, probably. Well, maybe
don't
not.
know about, again, 4.
Next year's schedule's
So
monstrous.
exactly. What
Yeah.
you are aiming for
Again.
is the most credible way to 4 wins. And the 2-year window, again, unfair or not, college football evaluation has gone from a 4 to 5 year window to a 2 to 3 year window. You are evaluating it because of the amount of player movement and coach movement. You are now evaluating every 3 years, basically. And so what is the move? Let's put names to it. Because that's the way we can visualize it, right? What is the move that will give you the best 2 to 3 year window moving forward? 25, 26, 27. Is it bringing back Walters? First of all, my thing is that no matter what happens this offseason.
This is a great question, by the way. Just the way you just started that question is awesome for people out there. It's great.
What's your 3-year, 2-year window, 3-year, 2.5-year window, let's say.
Right.
By the way, you have to, no matter the Sunday after the IU game, fire him or not, I want a 2-year commitment no matter what you do. You can't go. The worst way to go forward with this is a 1-year commitment, and he's a lame duck head coach, and no players are going to come, and it's going to be hard to hire coaches without overpaying or guaranteeing multiple years. It's impossible. That is a terrible way to go about this. So it has to be, if you're going to say he's a young coach, we knew that this was a possibility. We are going to work with him through it because we believe in him. He gets the next 2 years no matter what. Great, fine. I may disagree with it, but it is better than saying, we'll go into next year and we'll see, and being wishy-washy about it. So that is my one thing. So to get that 2.5-year window, here are your 2 options. Your 2 options are, let's say a coach let's say we keep Walters and we get assistants like, on offense, I think Seth Luttrell or Phil Longo are names that are out there. I think Seth Luttrell's worked with Walters in the past, where they have been successful. He actually worked with Harold too in the past. He's an air raid guy. These are both air raid guys. Fine. Like these are the types of coaches that have connections. Someone like Seth Luttrell, and on offense, and someone on defense like, let's say, Brock Speck, or let's say Mike Stoops, who is at Kentucky. Kentucky's coaching staff might be, moving on somewhere else, or Mark Stoops might be either taking a different job or stepping. Who knows? But
how much is his buyout, by the way?
I think he's got some money, but I do,
because that's a $9 million a year salary. I bet his buyout's big. And that's the funny thing. But that's the funny thing. I don't think anybody thinks of Kentucky as the SEC elite, right?
No.
And they're not making the TV money that the Big Ten is. And it sounds like they're done. They're ready to move on, right?
So, and he's a linebackers coach, and Walters worked with him before. He's a linebackers coach. Mike Stoops is. He has former head coaching experience. So let's take that. Someone like Brock Speck or Stoops on the Mike Stoops on the defensive side, someone like Seth Luttrell on the offensive side, all coaches with head coaching experience, all of these kind of things, and you get whole new assistants. Commit to that for 2 years with Walters. Or your other road is Tyson Hilton. Right. That is your floor. I think if you offer Tyson Hilton the job at $4 million, he takes it. Like that to me is by all accounts, he was the second choice this last go round.
My gosh, look at that number.
I absolutely think that he would take the job here.
Alex Drick says $44 million
for Mark Stoops' buyout, by the way. Shout out to bought out coaches.
And some people behind or through back channels are complaining about 9.
Exactly.
IU paid $19 million to Tom Allen to go away.
And did it work out for them?
It did okay, didn't it?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
And just committed to $70 million.
$72 million.
To me, the thing is, you've got to look at the next 2.5-year window. The worst of all, and in fact, also the most expensive route is offering 2-year guarantees to those assistant coaches, not giving Walters 2 years, firing him next year. And you have to pay those contracts out. You have to pay Walters' buyout out and you have to pay $15 million to a new staff.
So
to
Anish,
me,
you're the one who
it's
did the
like
calculus about what there's like a $4 million difference if you
4
fire
plus the
him
head
next year.
coach. It's 10. Yeah, so it's like basically
it's like 10 million.
yeah. So assuming that you're hiring, you're pouring $4 million into the
Into
assistant
assistants,
coaches.
into coordinators. Yep.
That
They're
is-
all gonna want a 2-year contract. You hear what? So in case you guys missed this point, is a big one. Okay, so the trial balloon we've heard floated was the idea of keeping Walters, canning the staff. So that means all new staff. Okay, and so that costs money up front. Costs about a 2-year contract for almost everybody on that staff, and so you're gonna have about a $4 million buyout situation next year if you can Walters staff.
Right.
and it's already $9 million for this staff.
Right. So $4 million just going to them to leave. Right now, it's just $9 million for everybody. Right.
No, I think it's like 10 plus because they got
10 plus.
They have to pay a
10
little
plus.
bit of
Yeah.
a little bit of what's his name, Harold's, but not all of it.
So yeah,
the point being, it's
the
not a huge
economics of it are pretty.
This like Purdue doesn't have money. Purdue's choosing not to spend money.
That's
on this.
it. That's it. It's choosing not to spend money. I cannot believe that college football is being changed this much for money. Let's not say it is for the money.
It's always been for the money.
And now we are saying we don't
And
have
tighten
money
it
to
up.
invest in this.
I mean,
no, that's not
Right.
not acceptable.
Right.
It's not going to be long before Purdue's in a situation where the buyout is what Tom Allen's was. Like the fact that the buyout's only $9 million is insane.
It's
Because
nuts.
Tom
Yeah.
Allen's was 19 million. And in fact, I think it was more, but he took 19. Remember?
Yeah.
He took less than his buyout could have been. He took
Yes.
some like,
So he could go get a job.
well, I think it was to get it up front. Otherwise,
Right. That's right. That's right.
So
So I looked up another guy that I thought was really interesting just because I told you guys that I was like Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State. He's super like energetic and positive and all that stuff, and he's doing a hard job. And in 2 seasons, he's got Arizona State redialed. And I was like, man, this guy's interesting. His buyout's $4 million. 4. That's nice and light
I'll
in
just
case
pay.
you.
I'll just
Exactly.
pay.
I know. Just
Pluck an apple off the money tree.
yeah.
I mean, to me, the low buyout is also that was what we were told, and in the contract 2 years ago, that's like the advantage of hiring kind of a younger coach is that it's less
you
money
out from under it if
investment.
you have to.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
And
not
so-
Jimbo.
And so,
Yeah.
to me, like, do it. Like, then go do it.
By the way,
Prove that,
Kevin in
prove
Albuquerque
that-
replies and says 10 million now or 13 million next year. No. Because it's 10 million now, or you pay 6 million because Walters would be less next year.
Yeah.
So doing the math, you're barely spending. I think it's like a total of 13.
Yeah.
Because next year I think his drops by a few million.
It
It's-
drops
it's
by 5 because he has the guarantee, but you are pouring $4 million guaranteed into a completely new coaching.
I'm
staff.
saying if you do it now or you do it end of next year, it's probably not even that different. It's probably total is probably the same. So
No,
just
actually,
do it.
next year is going to be a little bit more. Yeah. So and you're sinking
Negligible,
a year
though.
of risking a
Right.
year of fan enthusiasm, right?
Oh, and the ticket loss,
Gonna
the
create a-
money. It's a ton of money.
I
Right?
mean, I was shocked at how, and I'm sure that there were a lot of Penn State fans in the thing, but it's like Purdue still filled up the stadium, right? Last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
And so it's like you
Not gonna happen
still
next year.
have the remnants of the good feelings
Yes.
towards football that the Brom era gave. Don't throw that away, right? Like that is what we are begging for. And at the very least, if you bring Walters back, how are you my biggest argument is that he's a really good recruiter and he'll be able to kind of keep the class together. He hasn't been able to.
Nope.
And like, are we going to be able to keep Devin Maccabee? Are we going to be able to keep Max Clare and kind of all of the like Will Helt and
Right.
Dylan Thieneman? I mean, Thieneman, you'd hope
Guys
that
left
we-
last year from a
Mark
team that
DeVille.
looked like it was going in the right direction. So they're of course going to leave. Guys leave
Yeah.
good programs.
Right.
Guys leave programs doing well because whether you've always talked about this, they get somebody in their ear who's like, you should be making.
All it takes is one bad piece of counsel, right? I mean,
Imagine being
even-
Reggie Love. Holy smokes!
I mean,
Coming
there
from
are going
Illinois to
be
this?
people that will, like I said, like, there is talent on this roster.
Yeah.
There are going to be people taking it, and you have to invest, right?
Yeah,
You
but
have
what
to.
are you gonna? The people who are doing it, they're gonna be the guys like who came from Georgia. I mean,
it was it's a sunk cost. And again, it was a fine gamble. Again, same
Yes.
thing for Walters.
I'm
It
fine with
made
that.
sense. We were all excited about it. It made a lot of sense to try it. But if you try it, you have to also admit when it's not working. The Georgia guys, it was worth a shot. But it doesn't seem like for some reason they're just not clicking, whether it's
move
the
on.
system or anything like that. And you have to admit, and change, right? You have to admit and adapt. And that is the thing from Walters that I'm not seeing that will eventually be his downfall.
That's the inexperience, right? That's the inexperience. You don't know what to change to because you don't have the experience to draw on. And I've heard other people, I think in our circles, talk about how he's got a thin network. Like he doesn't have guys that he can call on. I know that you mentioned a few guys he's worked with in the past, but he doesn't have guys like Nebraska. Oh, do I ever want to talk about Nebraska?
Here we go.
But they brought in Dana Holgerson, and in a week they gave him play calling. Now I know they lost, but they scored points. They didn't. They barely lost. And I remember when they did that, I tweeted. I said, "Oh, so this is allowed. You can do this. Like it may not be the solution, but when you're floundering around,
they're trying to find something.
Try
right?
something.
Try something.
And they're
Yeah.
5-5.
Like, I've been stunned after
They were 5-1.
after Harrell and after the bye weeks, like that nobody has been brought in, which either tells me that the entire staff is being canned, or
He has no one
Walters
he
is
can
being
call.
canned too, or it is just that inflexibility. Right?
Yeah, think
No,
about
he
those
doesn't-
two things. So there's
He's
two
gonna
things
call.
there. Jay says who's going to call because he doesn't have much of a Rolodex. But the second thing is if he's so that's two parts. Maybe he doesn't have somebody to call, and maybe Babinski said, "I don't have the budget for that. I'm not going to pay for that."
Exactly, and maybe that is what it is.
If
Maybe-
it's
and maybe
that, then fold up the program because if
Well,
you
right.
can't
or
bring in a
fire-
guy
or
for half
fire
a
him.
season,
It's a sunk cost, and so then say
what
like,
would you have to pay a guy in that? What do you think Holgerson's making? $500,000 or less?
no less.
Right. He doesn't have the budget for that. That's bullshit. There's no way he said that. There's no way. I'm sorry.
The
I'm
I
gonna
think it's
tell you.
wild. Did you say that they put him into play calling duties right away?
Well,
One
they
Like
did. I
after
think
5 days or something?
I think it's because there was some sort of scandal with not scandal, but like some sort of arrest or DUI or something like that by the OC. And I think that is
really?
I think that's the situation. Again, why does this information rattle around in my head? I don't know.
I mean, look,
But
you,
still,
you
you got
try
data.
spending some time in Nebraska and
I
see if you don't drink a lot.
I know, jeez. And Dana, and your solution to that problem is Dana Holgerson, by the way.
Hey, man, they're swinging. They're swinging because
Exactly.
not that I want to pivot yet to Nebraska, but I think Matt Rule knows he's got to do something. I think he knew I got to make some big swings.
He's got to wake up the man. They're flatlining. It's wild. What was that?
Remember-
8 straight games where they've
Nine.
been in the position.
Nine.
Nine
0-9 with a
straight
chance to clinch a
games.
bowl under Matt Rule.
It's an incredible
0-9.
stat.
It's so delicious. I can't even. And they did get screwed, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw that last play.
Uh-uh.
You see the last play of their game. So they had a play from like the 20 in the final play of the game, and they were down a touchdown, and they throw it in the end zone, and the USC. So it gets picked off. The Nebraska receiver is there. The USC defender does the thing where he grabs the back shoulder and pulls it down to keep him from being able to go up for it. And as he does that, his teammate jumps in front of them and intercepts it. It was the most textbook pass interference
Right?
ever, and it was not called. And so they absolutely have a beef, and I absolutely don't care. It's so good.
Yeah.
I was too busy watching Louisville flounder.
Implode.
You know what I love too is
That was one of the
everybody
worst
knows.
endings
Greg
ever.
McManus put this out there, and I saw a few people say this. They were like, "Oop, that's Jeffy's one every
It's
year.
the
He's
Jeff-
got one. He's got
Yep.
one of those in the bag
And it's
every year.
right-
One
it
of those
comes
where you're
in
like,
the week
what?
after their biggest win of the season.
They
Always,
were up,
it's
they were
Jeffy
up like
special.
15 points in the third quarter, and they lost to Stanford.
One of my favorite things, I jumped in on one of the threads because I felt a little fun. And a Louisville fan said, "This is easily the worst game Jeff Brum's ever coached." I said, wait.
Hold on,
Hey, Eastern Michigan.
and you slide your card under the table.
Rutgers.
Oh, I will take that bet,
Right.
and
Exactly.
I will raise you.
At
Auburn in a bowl game. We can go. There's a lot.
Rutgers at
Rutgers.
Rutgers.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Let's not
That one.
forget that was pre-Shiano Rutgers. That was what's his face.
Oh, that was one of the worst Rutgers coaches ever, right?
They were so terrible. And we were there to see it.
Man, okay.
I
I'm gonna
remember
say
you
this.
guys,
If I'm
the
right,
mood after the game, because I talked to you right after.
we
Oh
met
my
Berghoff.
gosh,
we
was
met
it great?
Berghoff that weekend?
We met
actually.
Berghoff that weekend.
I'm going to say a name. If this was the head coach of Rutgers, just shoot me in the head because I should not know this. Was it Chris Ash?
Yes. That was
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah.
Why? Why?
I couldn't remember. I remembered it was a 3-letter last name, though. I was going to say it's a short little last name.
Why? What
Who?
purpose?
Wait a minute. I know the answer to this one. Anish, where did he work before he got the Rutgers job?
Ohio State.
Ah!
Come on. what?
The useless, stupid crap.
There's no need.
Think
for
about all
it
the
at all.
shelves that are in there, and think about how much is taken up on those shelves.
But Chris Ash, why? Why would I ever need that? But if I can't remember the name of a person I just met, but I know Chris Ash worked for Ohio State.
Dude,
I hate that I forget people's names.
I forget the name of people I work with every day. I'm not exaggerating. I'll go into Outlook and I'll go to start an email and it'll just misfire and I'll go, and I'm at a point now where I know I'm not going to come up with it. I don't sit there trying to think of it. I'm like, let me just search for something they'd be on. Oh, that's the person. Dude, it's like a little glitch, like my blue screen. Like my brain just blue screened and I got to resnap it. And Xmas Time says, did we forget the Syracuse meltdown? Yes, there is.
You got a handful of Jeffy games.
I mean, that Stanford loss is pretty bad.
I think Louisville should fire
That Syracuse loss was an incredible loss.
I think Louisville should fire him, by the way. Like I don't think that Louisville is too good of a program.
Right. They need better. They deserve better.
They do deserve better.
Yep.
Somebody on Twitter, and I saw you retweet somebody. Somebody said to you something like, Purdue's going to become in an endless search. They're either going to hire the wrong guy and have to fire him, or they're going to hire a guy and every 2 to 4 years he's going to leave. Now, let us review how many coaches have come to Purdue and been so good that they've left for another job in our lives. One.
Oh no, we'll have the Jeff Brom era again. No.
Right.
Yes. And he would not have left if it wasn't his alma mater.
Yes.
So
he left for that one, or I think Notre
he
Dame
left for the
could have
one
probably
job he was
poached
going to
him,
leave
but
for. And this guy actually wrote to you and said, Purdue is always going to be because they're really good and they move on. What? We've talked about this in the past. Give me that 3 of the next 5 coaches. A coach that's so good after 2 to 4 years, he's hired away. Absolutely.
It'll be fun.
It'll be fun for a few years.
I'll take it. We've said it all along. Handel said it to us. You guys, we've said it. We just want to have a good time at Purdue. We just want to go to the games and then be fun. We really do.
Stone, please.
How about another question I just thought of that somebody could ask Ryan Walters? Tell me if this is fair. Would you ever say, and somebody should absolutely ask him this the week of the IU game, do you look at IU football and think, wow, that could be us. We should be able to do that. If they can do that, why can't we do that?
What from the way that IU has been run for this year under Signetti, do you look at and do you admire? Do you wish
from what thou win? He was trying to really word that well.
Yes. He was trying to make sure his preposition in the sentence, I think. Just all of a sudden Anish is gonna go grammatically correct sentence structure.
With the wig and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it is baffling. It's baffling. But again, there's a lot of anger, and I get it. And we have to show it.
He's just like a therapist right now.
But also,
you have to let it out.
We got 12 days. 12 days, and we can either completely explode, or we can say, okay, cool, the athletic department knows. Relax.
Sounded pretty good.
Gotta wait 12 days. Man, it will be an explosion.
It will be. By the way, somebody brought up the Nevada game as another Jeff Brom special. Oh my gosh. My brothers and my dad were there for that dog shit.
That gets funnier when you think about, like, your brother was so deeply in love with Jeff Brom that he was like, it was almost like it started as it was like a year earlier. I'm going to go. And we're like, yeah, right.
You're right.
He's like, no, I'm going to go. And we're like, not really, right?
Motor City Boiler is correct. I think Louisville should fire Brom.
If Louisville fires, you got to go.
Man, wouldn't that be a fun one, too? That'd be great.
Exactly.
So, Anish, you talked about the carousel, and I meant to jump on this earlier because you said there's a chance that it won't get ripping, right? We saw already there have been 12 teams let go of their head coaches, but they're all lower division or what do you call it?
Owls.
Group of 5, right? Owls. They're all owls. All teams. They're all teams with owl mascots. Okay, so it's incredible though that many have been let go really in the last week. Right? And it feels to me like there might be some momentum in that carousel here in the next week to 10 days. I don't think Purdue will fire. For the record, I just don't think there's any practicality to it. The problem that I have with everything is the balloon that's been floated. That whole thing set me off as bad as I've ever been set off about Purdue sports my entire life. And I see a massive, horrible repeat of a dark era in which the trustees weren't freeing up money or budget for football, not seeing the good that the football team can be for the marketing of the school. That's the problem that I have. That shows such poor vision. They act like, that was the old era. And we said, okay, that all got changed when Berghoff came in and he started saying, I'm going to go on these tours with Babinski. We're going to go out, we're going to raise money and talk to people. Brom, Babinski, and the killer bees, right? And they would go out and it was fun. You guys met with them. I met with them, right? They were great, right? You're like, okay, this is different. We're talking about being pissed off that we lose, right? A trustee saying that to us. Wow, that's different. I couldn't even remember. I didn't even know which one of the trustees were by name or face before Berghoff. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm alone in that. And as an alum who's been a ticket holder and a guy who loves the football and basketball programs, but Berghoff was different, right? And now,
they've got to show it, right? They've got to show it.
We'll talk more about this during, I'm sure next week when we head into IU. We got a lot of thoughts about IU, and they're not what you might expect. And somebody in here said something about how much, Tom Parker, if you go back a little bit, how much do we put stock in IU's schedule, asking for a friend. Look, and we'll talk more about this next week. They have not played a ranked team yet. Purdue's played like 4 ranked teams. You can hang your hat on that if you want, but we talked about this previously. First of all, they've beaten – some of the teams they've beaten are definitely serviceable. We can make all the jokes we want about Nebraska. They were 5-1 or 5-2 at the time. Michigan is a defending national champs. I know they're not what they were. They're the defending national champs. Right. And you have to play the teams that are in front of you. And if you think Purdue would be 10-0 against that schedule, you're out of your mind. Purdue would have
3 wins. They'd have 3 wins.
Right. And I don't care how easy. I don't care if you're playing a Sun Belt schedule. 10-0 is extremely difficult.
It's difficult
because 10 weeks in a row. That's extremely difficult.
Jay has been praying and hoping and wishing for a 10-win Purdue team.
You bring this up as though I'm a weirdo for this.
No. I think it's good. No. I think it's great.
10-win seasons. I can't. But I air quotes because of the way Anish has me framed. I have to get them in here. I'm doing stuff and it's off. I'm doing it right now, but it's off camera. I see it on my little view, but I have to bring it.
You're making hand motions for me to suck it probably right now. So no, but I'm not going to put you down with this. I'm going to say this is one of the things you've literally been talking about this for longer than a decade. You've been talking. All you want to see is Purdue win 10 games, right? And so in the process. Yes, but totally. Exactly. Not in total.
I've seen them win 10 games. Never in person.
Under Daryl Hazel, you didn't. 4 years, you did not see 10
That's a good point.
Correct.
So, no, but my point is, in the process of Jay wishing on the 10-win season, he has been meticulously looking at other 10-win teams and how they got there. So he knows it's difficult, and he sees that, guess what? It's possible, though. It happens a lot where one team gets hot week after week after week. It's been Kansas. It's
been Northwestern. It's been Duke.
Exactly. Look, he has some names, as a matter of fact.
And you know what school?
Duke in Indiana.
What school had never done it until this year? Indiana.
Yeah.
They were one of like 2 or there are not many power conference schools that had never done it, and they were one of them. Vandy, I think, is the other. It's like Vandy and IU are like the only power conference schools that have never won 10 games. I'm pretty sure that I'm pulling that from memory, but I don't think there's anybody else out. Like even like Stanford was really good for a while under Harbaugh. Like Arizona State gets good every now and then. Now Purdue did it once. For those who wonder, 1979.
Until Blue Bonnet Bowl, I think, after the end of the
season. He only played 11 regular season games too. Let's not forget.
Right, that's a hell of a season.
Yeah, IU is having a real season. If they go,
would they be 10-0 if they played 4 ranked teams? Probably not. but they are still very good. And they're going to have their chance. You can say they haven't played a ranked team. They're going into Columbus this weekend. So if they win that game, now you're like, okay, that's worth a couple of ranked wins. Because Ohio State's not going to take them lightly. I know that.
No, they're not taking
that win.
Here's the thing that Ryan Day is trying to like become like a cheerleader on Twitter and places, telling Ohio State's fans, you better be dialed in this week. This is an important game, blah, blah, blah. You know,
critical.
Yeah, it's absolutely critical.
This is for the playoff, my friends. Yeah. The loser of this probably doesn't go to the playoff, would be my guess.
It's kind of wild.
Well, yeah, that's
11-1 IU doesn't get to the playoff. Like
if they don't get in the Big Ten title game,
they would have every right to be pretty pissed off if they go 11-1 and Penn.
Wait, so that you saying IU would be pissed off if they lost?
Yeah, of course.
So he's saying if they don't make the playoff.
If they don't make the playoff,
right. And then the good news is they've got to get right game the next week.
I know.
Well, you're 11-1. You're assuming 11. That they're beating Purdue.
Yes, I'm already giving.
What are you doing
for the bucket game? Yes.
You throw the records out. Please
yeah, exactly. It's exactly.
Throw it out.
Please, yes, begging you.
Yeah. Man.
That's an hour, guys. That's an hour. Are we done?
I can't believe it. I can't believe that we did this.
We just talked about an hour. Somebody came on and made it. Did we make a pact not to talk about the number 6 team? This is about football. Do you think we want to talk about this? We are contractually obligated to talk about this. By the way, when you leave Ross Aid because you can't stand it anymore.
Right. You're at your wit's end.
Right. And you it's an emergency. So you head towards an emergency building, which is the fire station.
Yep.
What do you do then?
Turn left. And then you're going to be like,
turning left.
And you're just going to see a beautiful light shining down upon you. It'll be the AJ sign.
Man, you'll go in there and the game will be on in there too. And you'll be able to say, hey, could you change this to something else?
I was just there. It sucked in person. I don't want to relive it on television.
And then, we got there before the game was over against what was that? Was that Notre Dame? Yeah. We were in AJ's before it was over.
Maybe.
That I've not done many times.
I know, that might be the first time I've ever done that. But it was worth it.
It was good. It was worth it.
Yeah,
it was delicious.
AJ's is delightful.
It was
I am currently wearing 2 layers of home field apparel. It's like
that's the way they say it.
You have to say over at the end of it, right?
It's like
over
pin number. Yeah. It's home field apparel.
By the way, they've got something really cool right now. They got a bunch of mystery bags. Cool. You should check that out. Like you can get 3 T-shirts for $54, I think. I think that's right.
Oh, I love their mystery bag.
Yeah, go get them. Yeah, my nickname was Mystery Bag.
Steps out of the shower and you say, "Oh,
it's whose is that?" They knew already. Because the markings. And so go on homefieldapparel.com. Check out a mystery bag. They have T-shirts. They have a sweatshirt mystery bag. They have long sleeve T-shirt mystery bag. They have jacket. Like if you're into the coach's jacket, they'll send you something from what's the one with the Kibby Dome?
Idaho.
Maybe get an Idaho coach's jacket. Who knows? They got everybody. So
enter
you might
boiled 25 for 15% off your first order. Boiled 25.
Holidays are coming.
Yeah.
Right. Put a big order together. Get a bunch of stuff. Make sure you do it on your first order and get a discount.
Or just register a new email. Like, pull the old scam, man.
No.
Just keep going.
Yeah. Mail it to your neighbor.
Exactly. Why do I get emails on all 4 of my emails from Home Field Apparel?
Maybe.
Man.
Who knows?
Who can say exactly?
So, Purdue. What's really fun is that Purdue basketball beat the number 2 team in Mackey Arena after losing the 2-time National Player of the Year. They are up to number 6, and it's like, oh, cool, pretty cool. It's like, yeah, it's nice. This is the best. Like, this is awesome. It's so cool to feel confident when anybody comes in to Mackey. It's so cool to just feel so calm when Braden Smith has the ball. These are the.
Did you watch the movie?
Awesome.
Did you watch the movie that the creatives put out?
Yes.
Have you seen it, Jay?
No.
Oh my gosh! Check out the
Boiled
Boiled Sports Twitter timeline.
It's a lot to sit through.
Oh, it's worth it. Shut your face hole. I love that stuff. You know I love that stuff.
I know you do.
Oh, it's beautiful, man.
I watched the game. I don't need to watch a movie.
No, you watch it again. You see what details you miss because they got better angles than the TV crew. They really do. They've got this one angle they show when Fletch hits that 3 and Oates is in the background just beside himself, angry. Oh, it's good. Oh, it's so good. Nom, nom, nom. I want more. I want more.
Oates said a weird thing, which was like, I didn't know TKR was this good. And I was like,
Yes. Oates had a couple weird quotes.
I don't know that he really meant the way everyone took that. I feel like he's kind of given him his flowers, his expression goes.
Exactly.
I think didn't
he kind of hint that was Purdue's Super Bowl, having Alabama come to Mackey Arena? Did he kind of hint that? Somebody said that, commented that he was like, he's like, well, of course it was sold out. We're in town, type of thing.
No, did he?
Somebody I had read this today, and I'm like, oh boy, I hope he didn't say that. I haven't read the transcript of him after the game, but
I watched his post game. I didn't catch anything like that. I watched.
Okay, good for him not saying that.
He was great about the environment. He said it's great. I would love to be a fan here. As an opposing coach, it's hard because you can't hear anything. You can't tell you guys what to do. Yeah,
Anish got quoted on the boiler ball that post. They put a bunch of Twitter quotes out where people were talking about how their Alabama players are like, this place is tough, blah, blah, blah. And Anish said something that was totally not exciting. I can tell you, Anish puts out exciting tweets, but clearly Chris Foreman wants to hug Anish and is trying to get in his good graces. Exactly. I don't know what's going on with that. So, but he really did put Anish at the bottom of the tweets of note of the day.
I'm a very important.
Very important. Very important. Yeah, exactly.
Influencer is what
some say. Some would
say. Call me an influencer.
That's what J Money Jr. calls you, I believe. Yeah.
Do you guys want to hear some people's suggestions for road trips for
football road trips? Let's go for it, and then we'll do the Marquette predicto, and then sign off.
And then we'll say goodnight. All right. So I have to say, a bunch of people replied as though this was a specific to the Big Ten question. And there's almost nowhere in the Big Ten that I want to go. I've been to a couple, not as many as I probably should have been to by now, but like some people are mentioning Beaver Stadium. It's like, it's not bad. The fans aren't bad. They're nice. Mm-hmm. There were some people in here saying that there was one person who replied and said that Nebraska fans are the best fans in college football. And
the worst Twitter fans? How does that happen?
Weird. Well, Anish and I sat with Nebraska fans at a Purdue-Nebraska game, and they were not the best football fans ever.
So
we can say
it might be. So, like we always say this, it's astounding the difference that an in-person Penn State fan and an online Penn State fan.
Same with Notre Dame.
I don't think, and Notre Dame,
real Notre Dame, like grads, are not the worst.
The gap between those, their online fandom and their in-person hospitality is night and day.
Their hospitality is incredible. Like they really are nice people. It's weird because they support a lot of people who are not nice. Let's see. ABQ Albuquerque Boiler, our friend, we know who he is, said most unique has to be the NAU Sky Dome, Northern Arizona Sky Dome. I had not thought of that. But he says, or you know why I'm bringing this one up. He says, or Idaho's Kibbe Dome.
Yeah.
That's near the absolute top of my list because
is that going to be our first trip?
Well, as I said to you guys, and my son heard me talking about this, next year in late September, in the same weekend, Idaho plays at home. And do you know how close they are to Washington State? 16 minutes by car. That's how close they are to Pullman.
Dude.
Yes. And the same weekend is the Apple Cup, Washington and Washington State.
Okay. Yeah, that's
now.
Is that it's a hard ticket to get? Probably is, right?
We'll make it happen. I don't think that. So unless they're playing at the exact same time, you can do it because they're 16 minutes apart. Even if it's 12 and 3:30, you could probably do it. But let's say one's evening and one's Friday.
I got another one to add. Let me add one to the list that I didn't add earlier. I want, and I know we can't control this, sadly, but I want to see a Wyoming game in the snow specifically.
Okay. You're big on
it feels like, oh my gosh, their flakes are like this big. Oh man, looks awesome.
So
I love Wyoming.
We're all weird about what we want to go see, but when someone in the replies suggests it, you're like, okay, now there's someone else who's just as weird as us. Somebody, I'm trying to find it right now, but we had someone who suggested Wyoming, and I was like, well, Boiler Dad will love you.
Oh yeah, let's go to Laramie.
We had someone suggest. Let me see here, Jacob Pfeffercorn. The Theft. He has a picture and everything. He says Appalachian State is a beautiful, underrated one. And I said,
that's on our list. Yeah.
That's my answer.
Now, Ben Carnahan says, dying to do a night game at LSU. I said, that's definitely.
Yes, that's on there. Yep.
So now, Boilers 12 says, In all seriousness, top venue I've been to, probably Virginia Tech at night. That's on Bowling Dad's list.
Yeah.
Enter Sandwich with Jacked Up Stadium was something else. Darrell K. Royal Stadium was an experience. I believe that. And then he says the Swamp and LSU are the top two that come to mind.
boy.
I think that's a great list that he put together.
LSU
The Swamp is one of mine. I know you guys like LSU, and I definitely would go. The Swamp, I have always had a thing for Florida football. We've all talked about this. Everybody has kind of a weird program that you weirdly like for whatever reason. I want to see a game in the Swamp, a night game preferably, because I just think it's probably the best party.
Preferably in August, so it's like 7,000 degrees and 100% humidity.
Wet. Really wet.
You're swimming to your seat, and there's mosquitoes stuck to you. You don't even realize.
Northern Florida, knock it off.
I love it.
Yeah,
Of the name brands in college football, the LSU stands completely separate to me. Like just the tailgate, the food, like the stadium. The Tiger Eye is so cool.
It's cool.
I think that's the coolest thing, like midfield. It is such a cool.
I like that they have 5-yard increments because they're not bright enough to be able to know what. That's what I've always assumed. This is just too many.
2, 3. I lost
between 30 and 40.
Oh no!
Right.
Damn it! So the thing that I think it's you guys.
You are the top of mine.
What's
So
that?
when we were kids, do you guys remember LSU looked dated? Their helmet looked dated. The Tiger Eye to me looked dated. The field looked dated, and it all of a sudden became cool in the early 2000s.
They polished it up a little, but they didn't change it a lot. You're right,
Man. I mean, like everything's cool at LSU.
It's almost like when you win national titles,
Huh?
it puts a shine on it.
You think that does it? I wouldn't know.
I think. Let's win 10 games.
Right. Baby
I
steps.
got suggestions for Oxford, Mississippi, to see an Ole Miss game. I think that's probably
right.
right.
I think Dad, you brought that up.
Yep.
I mean, this is not. I don't think on any of our top of our list, but I would see a game at Alabama. I know we all like the idea of A&M. That was suggested by Juan Patrick. Juan Patrick's list is Rose Bowl, Oregon, Wisconsin, A&M, and Tennessee. Good, pretty good.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go to Wisconsin.
Me either.
I'd like to hang out in Madison. I would hang out in Madison and not go into the game. Like Madison's a cool place.
Yeah,
I like that.
Easy drive for me. So not for you guys, suckers.
I mean, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know I'll do
Yeah,
it.
you'll drive. I know you will. You'll
That's the
drive
thing.
the
When
whistle.
we go to the Kibbe Dome, we just need to give Anish like a week's notice so he can get his car out there.
I'll just get out there. Yeah, man. I got the tailgate stuff already. Get the dog in the car.
Hal French says Army, which is mad underrated.
Army Navy would be really cool.
Well, I said to you guys, but the
whatever.
problem with Army Navy is it's always at a neutral site.
Yeah.
Now, a game at West Point is amazing, and I know a lot of people who go there regularly, even though and the Army's good now, which I don't know if we could make that happen when they're good. But I said to you guys, what would we want to see? Because you were like, each one of us could host once, and I was like, well, who the hell are you going to see in the Northeast? And you guys were like, Army, go to West Point. That would be pretty good.
Yeah, be great.
Or
So
you guys could come and we could see the Pinstripe Bowl together. We could all do that.
That's the best bowl.
Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. It's what every kid's dream is, to watch a bowl game in December in New York.
In Yankee Stadium.
In Yankee Stadium.
On a baseball field.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, perfect.
Such a great thing. So, interesting thing. Army can be very, very. They can go from being important to really, really important this weekend.
Oh man.
Yeah,
fun.
boy.
It's gonna be fun.
Let's eat that up, man. No, wouldn't that be great? Gosh, I'm already big fan of the armed forces, but boy, you beat Notre Dame. Let's do this, man. And they'd propel them. That'd put them in position for a playoff then too, right?
Close. I mean, because they did drop one, and it became so now it's tough. But winning against
they're undefeated, correct?
I think they lost. I think they dropped one, but maybe
I think
not.
Navy's the one who's lost.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Army football.
Yeah, you're right. Navy dropped one for sure.
Yeah.
And Army is not good this year. Or I mean, Air Force is not. Sorry, Air Force is not good.
Yeah.
And so we might get the first Purdue football opening where Troy Calhoun's name is not floated for a job offer. We might get
first and three openings.
Hearing Troy Calhoun.
Exactly in my earpiece again. It's Troy Calhoun. It's always Troy Calhoun.
Carol Young says her kids are students at schools with great venues. She's got kids at Ole Miss and Tennessee. She said Newland at night is mind blowing.
Yeah.
And Vaught Hemingway isn't amazing for the game, but the Grove is definitely a must experience. I believe that.
Yeah, and Ole Miss is only like 53,000 fans. So it's like it's pretty intimate. I've told.
Like
That's the thing where I think Alabama, you lose some of that. I think it's kind of sterile.
That's exactly what someone said. They replied and they said Alabama's big. It just comes across as huge.
I mean, and we got Ohio State and Michigan. Like we got big, and Penn State. Like we've got like big stadiums here.
Zane Taylor says Happy Valley, Rose Bowl, which Lane Stadium, Virginia Tech, and Boise State, which is definitely on our list.
The other one
now, the funny thing is Boise and the Vandals are in the same state, but they're 5.5 hours apart driving. Right, so you could do them in the same weekend, but it would have to work. You'd have to have like a Friday night and then a Saturday game.
So it's weird. Okay, so my perception of a Wyoming game in the snow is like cozy. I get a scarf on, but in Boise it's going to be so cold that I die. Maybe it's because the turf's blue and everything's icy in my mind. And then I'm like, oh, no, don't want to be here.
You made a joke about a bowl game in Yankee Stadium. You know they have a bowl game at Boise.
I know they do. I don't want to be there. That does not sound good to me.
Like the locals go and they sit there in the cold and they watch. But what else are you going to do in Boise? Sorry.
And Ron Gable says 68,000 Ole Miss. He was just there 2 weeks ago.
That's still small by SEC
standards.
Yeah. But it looks nice. Like I've seen Ron's pictures when he goes to the game. It looks pretty great to me. So I want to go. Want to go there a lot.
Yes. Now we got the
I get a fancy dress for the pregame. I'm told that's how you dress at an Ole Miss game. You get a fancy hat and a dress, and that's what you do.
That's right.
All right. Let's talk about. Let's light this candle. Let's talk about. I like that you, by the way, on the post game the other day, you were talking yourself into going to Marquette.
I was going to say.
And I tried to get it together. I rallied today. I know how much tickets cost. You can get them for $46 in the corner.
It's a 9 o'clock start though.
I know. I have a plan. I was gonna. This is a dumb plan, Jay, and you're gonna love this. Anish, I don't know if you know me well enough to know how dumb this plan is, but it sounds like something I do. I found a car that I like. That's just north of Chicago that I was gonna buy, and then I was gonna go to the game.
I need to get home somehow, don't I, Gina?
Exactly. That was the whole thing. See, none of the logic makes any sense. So why not throw them together? It's a negative plus a negative. That equals a positive. Anish, see, I know something about math. See, that's not true. I know.
It's close. It's close. You're almost there.
You're right there. I did that on purpose. And it was, no, but that's, my mind is not right. That's literally how I was trying to piece that together. And I've tried to get dance partners. I can't get anybody that wants to go to Marquette and watch a 9 o'clock tip. So there are tickets available though. There's place to stay. Might just get a hotel.
Okay, just making sure you weren't going.
Oh no, I won't try to come back. No. Get back at 5. No, thank you. That does not sound good. So, but it's an easy drive. That's the thing. Central Indiana, it's like 4 hours and 40 minutes.
You got to drive past Chicago, your favorite city.
Yeah. So my idea, I have it all.
You hate few things in the world more than Chicago. I looked at the map when you were like, yeah, it's just a little drive. I'm like, it's freaking Wisconsin.
Right through Chicago.
There's no way around it. There's a lake.
No, you can go out. You can go out, and it takes you another hour and 10 minutes. It's a horrible drive.
To Iowa on your way.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Anyway.
So I'll be cheering for Purdue on TV and then doing a post game.
By the way, Mr. Matt.
And not buying a car like a loser.
Matt DSM says Boise is a 2,700 foot elevation. Laramie is 7,100. That's interesting input. 7,100.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They laugh at your mile high business, Denver.
I stayed with my family at a place that I think was 7,900 feet, and we were all sick for at least a day. Everybody, and my wife was sick for 2 with elevation.
I stayed in Frisco, Colorado, which I think is at 8,100, and I was there like for a few hours, and I was like, man, did I drink last night? Why do I feel so hungover?
Yeah, Frisco's high.
So I flew to visit my friend in Denver, immediately went to a brewery and just enjoyed the night.
Great idea.
The next day, we were going up to Breckenridge, which is 9,600.
No, the top of Breck is higher than that if you're at the top.
No, we were in you were just
at like a lodge on the yeah,
like just hanging out in the
top's like 11 or 12, I think.
And on the way, I was like, it's somewhere. It went from mid-30s hangover to like, wait a minute, something is not right inside of me.
My heart is racing. What is happening
so
here?
My guy was like, let's stop by a sporting goods store.
Hey, did you get the little whippets?
Can of oxygen.
The little can there.
It's like Perrier from Spaceballs.
I got mint flavored when we were out there. Anish, what flavor did you get?
I was saying, how is there no flavors of
I got
air?
the
And then
mint.
They do have
Mint oxygen.
Mint oxygen.
Yeah, very, very tasty. It's kind of weird. It's the essence of mint. You know, you're like, ooh, wait.
It's one of those things.
They
If
have
you've
roast
never
beef
been in
stew.
there, if
They
you've never
have,
beef stew air,
yeah,
if you've
beef
never
stew.
been out there, it's the kind of thing where
That's
you're like,
awesome.
you see those things in the store, and you're like, this is a bit, right? You're looking around like little whippets of oxygen.
It helped. I don't know.
I know.
I don't know if it really did, or like if it was
did.
the mind games, but like it
You
worked.
know it did.
They're charging me $20 for air.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, just need healing.
Dude,
Don't
it's
care.
a commodity there.
Right.
You're at 8,000 feet.
Yeah. Hey, check out Ben Carnahan's comment, Jay. You'll like it.
Ben Carnahan says, I need to make boiler house now noise describing alert. Oh.
Yeah.
I think Purdue gets their first non-conference loss in 4 years, 3 years. How many years has it been?
4 years.
Tomorrow night, unfortunately.
I was catching strays with the same prediction, but I'd already predicted one loss. So
I think, coming off of a really big win, Marquette is another very tough venue. Their backcourt has been playing together for 4 million years. It is like so is Purdue. So like there's that. And TKR looks good, but I don't know. I think Marquette right now matches up a little, knows who they are a little bit more. And so I'd say that again.
they have a power forward that's a beast, right?
Yes. Is it Cam Jones? No, Cam Jones is in the backcourt. Oh no, Joplin. Yeah, that's right. Joplin's really
and that's a good test for TKR because that dude's gnarly.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How many years does Matt Painter have to dominate November before you guys become believers? That's all I want to know. When will you guys come around on Matt Painter in November?
In November.
I know. I got to get I don't have that one, the November champ sticker on Redbubble.
You can get it on Redbubble.
All we had to do was publicly make fun of that, and they went to the Final Four. So
exactly. So maybe we should.
It did not get taken down for that reason,
December
Jay.
Champs means that we win the title, right? Like that's what that means. Like we've got to make fun of that. It's gonna happen.
All I'm saying is I have not seen them lose in a long time. In November. So
just 38 games. Just 38 games in the pre-con. That's it.
It's so
straight.
Ridiculous.
It is an absurd streak. And the funniest part about that is it's not like they're playing cupcakes.
No.
Painter goes out of his way to make the hardest.
It's like he's going, all right, I want to lose somewhere in here. They can't keep doing this. Like, that's where you two are at right now. They can't keep doing this.
It can't keep happening, can it?
Exactly. It is very much.
It does.
You're doing the little reverse mush. You're like, I can't. They're going to lose. That can't happen.
My whole thing is really mine. I really thought they'd split these two games and they'd lose at home to Bama and then they'd beat Marquette in a comeback. But now I think, see, to me, you've got a lot of youth here, a lot of guys that are probably feeling pretty good about themselves
going into the first tough
environment. Yeah. Say CJ Cox's name because how incredible is it that Matt Painter just went? Apparently, so I thought it was a big recruit. Apparently, the recruit that he was going to go watch when he saw CJ Cox was like Brad Stevens' son.
Was also
So like he was trying to recruit Brad Stevens' son as a preferred walk-on. He ended up at with Micah at Notre Dame. But
that's where Micah is, yeah.
And so apparently it wasn't even a big recruit. It was Brad Stevens' kid.
It's a great story.
CJ Cox where nobody else sees him, and all of a sudden, he scores 9 points in less than a minute to take Purdue from down 6 to up 3, and Mackey just rocking and didn't look past then.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Anish, because if I knew how to find my bookmarks, I would have a great
Cobra Stats. Is that the one you're gonna bring up?
Why do we hide bookmarks? All right,
Cobra's not here. He usually checks in at the
now. So did you already look at this, or are you looking?
I did. I did.
Are you going to remember that? Okay, so Anish, this is almost like a Foreman stat. Since 2010, the shortest time for 3 made threes. Okay, so I do think that you could probably go back because even going back to 2010, more threes are shot now than were shot
Yeah.
before that. So this is probably the fastest 3 threes have ever been hit. But since 2010, we've got a list of 15 guys or 15 occurrences of hitting 3 threes in under 2 minutes. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Right. Okay. So there's 3 guys who have done it in less than a minute, and one of them was CJ Cox. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Who are the other 2 guys who have done it in less than a minute?
In less than a minute.
Since 2010. So you can last 14 years.
There was a guy on Kentucky.
No. Purdue guys.
Oh, Purdue.
This
guys.
is a list of 15 incidents of Purdue guys doing it in less than 2 minutes.
Great. Each one.
Each one is not anywhere on the list.
Wow. Okay. Did Jaden catch fire? Jaden seemed to.
Jaden Ivey is an excellent guess. He's the 6th fastest. He did it in 1:16 against Ohio State that night.
That Ohio State ending was awesome.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Jaden did that. Like Jaden.
1 minute
Jaden
and
had
16
those.
seconds.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh! I mean, so then you've got the normal suspects like Ryan Smith.
Ryan Smith did it in 1:49.
Wow. Okay.
You still got guys
still-
way faster. 2 under a minute besides Cox.
So Klein is the next most obvious guess.
Ryan Klein is not on this list.
Okay, and then we got the next one, my guy who's hanging right there, Carson.
Now, here's an amazing thing. Carson is not one of the under 1 minute. However, he did it in 140, 148, and 155. 3 separate incidents of
It's
this.
so fun.
He did it. He did it in 19 against Villanova in March in the tournament, that run. He did it in November of 17 against Arizona, 17, so he was very young. And he did it in January of 19 against Penn State.
I don't
That's
know. So who are the ones? I think I've already exhausted my guesses.
All right, so one is on the bench right now for Purdue, not as a player.
Oh, PJ. That's a
PJ?
great one. It's a great
59
one.
seconds in
Wow.
January of 18 against Iowa. And the other one, you're going to be kind of mad because it was Kendall Stevens.
Yeah. Was it Penn State? Was that?
That was, no, he did it against, let me look, I have to zoom it in to see even who this is. It was like a.
You're on an old microfiche at the library right now.
Seriously, I can't even tell you.
It may be like non-conference, some non-conference.
Siena.
There you go.
In
That was
2013.
in the tournament, wasn't it?
No, it was November of 13. So I guess
okay.
he played them twice. He also did it in 129 against ODU in November of 15.
Kendall Stevens. Shout out to Kendall Stevens.
So a guy just over a minute, I thought this was interesting, was John Hart.
Yeah.
In 7 seconds against Alcorn. Mason Gillis did it in 112 against Penn State, probably the night he hit
John
those
Hart
threes.
had that Illinois game, didn't he? That was the big.
Well, this one was Alcorn.
Gillis the Michigan State game at home?
No, Gillis was against Penn State.
Oh, that's
When
that game he went
did
off,
that,
right?
When he did that. Yeah. So there's some interesting other names on here. Sasha, 122. DJ Bird, 119. Ray Davis, 147. That's an interesting one because, I don't expect
I didn't
that.
think he'd be on the list.
And Fletch did it in 154 in 2022.
That's hilarious,
So anyway.
though, that Boogie is on there 3 times.
He's on
He's the best, man.
3 different times he hit 3 threes in
His
under 2
highlights
minutes.
in Germany right now are incredible. I
Yeah,
love
he's
it. I
awesome.
love
He
watching
looks like a
him.
halfback now too.
He's so cool. He's the coolest player that's
He's
ever come through.
he is the baddest dude
it's
ever.
It's not even close.
Yep.
And then meanwhile, Zach is hey. Turns out Zach Edey is
Hey!
really good at basketball. Look at that.
Hey!
Zach Edey can play basketball.
You
Who
do
knew?
that really well. If the moon was made of green cheese, would you eat it?
Zach is shooting 60% from 3, so that's great. That's
Yeah.
awesome. It turns out he's very good. Oh, guys, this is the best. This is the
It's
best
so
era,
great.
man.
I was told he was a free throw merchant, and once he got to the NBA, he wouldn't be any good.
Turns
Weird.
out.
As it turns out, that's not his only skill.
It's,
All right, guys, what do you say? What do you say?
Thankfully, you guys in Purdue basketball were there to flush down that hour of sadness that was Purdue football.
Very, very, very good. It leaves with a kind of a sweet taste in your mouth there. It's good. But everybody feels good. Sounds like we've got even in a loss, Anish. You think it'll be close? You think it'll be close? How close?
Yeah. Oh, one possession. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, been fun, guys. This is, I'm just going to repeat a public service announcement. We never wanted to see this happen to the Purdue football program again. We didn't ever want to see a 9-game losing streak, a 10-game, an 11-game, an 8-game, a 7-game. None of us want to see this, but we're in the shit we're in now. And so now we're at the point now where we're like, okay, let's offer solutions. And so just complaining didn't do us any good. So talking about the nuts and bolts of the situation is really what we're trying to do. But still found a way to be fun with you guys. Hope you guys have everybody.